Hey guys, Detail Illusion here. I almost forgot to do this vlog, but I remembered. Since working shift work, I have like no conception of what actual day of the week it is, so I'm like, oh, it's Tuesday! Oh! Anyways, as promised, there's a few things I want to go through today, and as promised, one of them is I'm going to talk about Pop Expo, and the other thing is I've been working on a little bit of a cosplay thing that I want to attempt and show you guys. So, to start off, Pop Expo. Wow, what an experience. For one, I think the con did fantastic, especially for a con that's on its first year. I know it is Ottawa Comic Con's kind of like spin-off convention thingy, but I think they did a really, really good job. A lot of people were really, really happy. I thought the crowd that they brought in was really, really fun. I had a lot of fun just talking to all the people that were there. The guests were all amazing. They got some really good people in, especially for our first year convention. The masquerade, wow, that was so well run. It was so smooth, and I know there was... obviously when you're shooting for a TV show, there were some people there with some agendas they needed to get certain shots and stuff, and I just felt the masquerade team worked really, really well and just did such a smooth job with the show. Everything was on time. All the judging seemed to go by really smoothly, at least from my perspective. So yeah, I know I said this in the last video too, but I'm sure people are still wondering. I've been asked a lot about the experience with the Heroes of Cosplay there, and I just want to reiterate that every single person I met was just super, super supportive and just really fun to talk to, and clearly knew and loved what they were doing. So there was no kind of drama there or anything like that. Getting judged by Yaya Han was a very interesting experience. She knows her shit like nobody's business. Usually I'm not used to people being able to pick up on the fact that I do have technical training, but she knew right off the bat that I had studied pattern drafting just by looking at my costume, so that was pretty cool. Yeah, and sometimes I think it's easy to miss the value of tailoring sometimes in a costume, of having a full lining or stuff like that, and she was really, really into that stuff and really picked up well on it and responded well to it, so I was super honored, and performing was really, really fun. I'm still shocked that I won something for I won Best in Show, because I'm pretty sure I felt like I was super awkward on stage. I don't know. I had all that fabric and the giant crown balancing on my face, and it was just we actually ended up having to spirit gum it down. It's supposed to be sewn in, and in theory it should have been able to be sewn in, but I kind of turned into a wuss last minute and was trying to sew it in myself and couldn't get a needle through, so it was I'm allergic to spirit gum, but for cosplay, and there's not too big, there wasn't much of a reaction, so I was pretty thankful for that. But yeah, it was just, there was all that going on, and I was really shocked that people responded so well to the performance, but the audience was clapping, and thank you guys for that. That was really a kind of a boost when you guys started clapping to the music. It gave me kind of the push I needed to go onward and try and bump up my presentation that much more, and I got a lot of really positive feedback. People laughed and enjoyed it, and I had fun with it. As I said, I felt a little bit awkward balancing all that fabric, but if people liked it, that's awesome. Yeah, aside from that, I got to cosplay with people that I really, really love. My two roommates, as well as my friend Becky, cosplayed Legolas with me on the second day, and that was a blast, because we got to be douchey, prissy elves the entire day. I really enjoy making fun of elves in the Elven Kingdom because I love them so fucking much. Anyone who sees some of my posts regarding elves knows this already. It's out of mad respect. Also, I saw The Hobbit. Holy fuck, that was amazing. I know I just raced through Pop Expo. If you guys have more questions, ask them. I'm just kind of drawing a little bit of a blank / I'm really hyped up on coffee with candy canes in it. Anyway, Hobbit. That was amazing. I swear, if there was a second showing starting when I left the cinema, I probably would have walked straight into it. I don't care. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. I saw it opening night, for those of you who didn't see my posts about that. It was amazing. I cried from joy, both when Thranduil showed up. Yeah. I get really emotional. I think you guys should know this. So when he showed up, I was just oh, he's so beautiful, and started vibrating in my seat. And then at the end, I teared up a little too because I was just so... I just thought it was the most amazing thing ever. I don't know. I've always kind of enjoyed... I enjoyed The Hobbit as a book a little more than Lord of the Rings. Mainly because The Lord of the Rings is really long and... I mean, you can call it long and dry or you can call it super detailed. It's a masterpiece. But The Hobbit I always found has a very different tone. It's a lot more lighthearted but kind of has all this depth under the surface. Whereas I find The Lord of the Rings is a bit more heavy-handed. And for those of you who know my taste in anything, I like things that seem lighthearted but have that depth underneath them. Like, you know, anything written by Clamp. They will break your heart, Clamp. They will break it. And I think the Peter Jackson movies of The Hobbit are really doing a good job of having that kind of, like, light-hearted twist with the dark subtext underneath. I don't know. That's just my opinion. I'm really excited to see where they go with the third movie. I love all the things that they added to it. My view with these things is always that a movie is an interpretation. It's not going to be anything like the book, and you kind of have to go in expecting that. And because that's kind of the mindset I go in with, I really enjoyed it because it's a new story. It's a different story, and it's obviously not going to be the same story. It's a completely different medium. Words on a page and things visually are totally different mediums. So I'm glad they're changing it and not trying to go, like, treat the book as a script. And I think a lot of the stuff that they're adding in is really interesting. I'm not going to spoil anything, but lots of neat stuff. Lots of amazing acting choices. I have always... Now that we've had, like, 3 different elven royalty pieces, I always thought Galadriel made some really interesting choices, and I was worried that Thranduil was going to make the same choices, but they didn't, and I felt they kept more true to his more, like, wild fae-like qualities, if that makes sense. Whereas Galadriel is clearly like a high elf. She's very ethereal and almost ghost-like, and Elrond is kind of like the almost human elf. He's the half-elf, half-elven king. He's, you know, he's supposed to seem a bit more relatable, and I think that Thranduil's, like, viciousness really was portrayed well, and his just, once again, the fact that he's very much not a human. He's a completely different species and works in a completely different way, and I thought Lee Pace did an amazing job of personifying that in a different way from how Galadriel was personified. Because I found even Elrond this time around was kind of taking cues from Cate Blanchett's Galadriel performance, so good there. Anyways, before this gets too long, I don't know, I ramble. These vlogs started off so ambitiously as being like, I'll do these things every week, and now it's just me turning on the webcam and talking about feelings. But I hope you guys still enjoy them. Anyways, for you guys, as you guys know, I work at Fabricland, and we get to do displays. And as a display, I really want to do something from The Hobbit, even though I've already cosplayed as Thranduil. I just really like the idea. I fell so in love with the movie that I really wanted to put something out in the store to kind of, I guess, just remind our customers that it's playing and that it's a really awesome movie. So I'm making another one of Thranduil's costumes. Yay! And I saw the costume before, and I almost tried to make it for Pop Expo, but it didn't happen because I couldn't afford it at the time, was the red jacket that he wears when he's interrogating the orc there. And I'm trying to get it done for the photo shoot I'm doing soon. That might not happen. But the cool thing I'm teaching myself how to do is velvet embossing, because if you look at his jacket, there's all these patternings shaped kind of like this, not quite like this, but as close as I can get. And what this is just 2 layers of cardboard. Super simple. It's actually cardboard from the bolt of fabric that the fabric came off of. And what you do is you put the velvet with the fuzzy side of the velvet on top of it. You soak the fabric with, most irons have the little squirty function. It probably has a name rather than like water gun, but I like to call it the water gun function because I'm a loser like that. And then you press it on a polyester heat, so almost the highest heat. And it actually crushes down some of the fibers. Now, this is just a corner that I did because I realized I should probably pattern draft the jacket and cut out the pieces first rather than stamping this through every single one of the 6 meters of this fabric. So I just have a corner that I did to test, so it's not gonna, hopefully I'll be able to get it nicer the next time, because the fabric you have to be careful. The fabric might, when it gets heated and wet, it kind of shrinks up, and you have to make sure that it doesn't move on you. But just to give you guys an idea of what it'll look like, and I'll post photos or, show you more once it's done and actually looking nice, but this is the test. Okay, it has to catch the light in a certain way. I swear it's there. But, come on, I was practicing in the webcam before to try and show you. There! There! Look at that! So it's actually because the fibers are crushed. When the light hits it at a certain angle, it shows up. But sometimes it's also invisible, or when it feels... There you go, see? Isn't that cool? I think that's awesome. So that's going to be through the entire jacket and all the train. And then on his shoulders he has... It's actually other cutout pieces that are embroidered on with gold embroidery thread. Which I got sparkly gold embroidery thread. I'm going to also stitch all the seams with it. I don't know if that detail is actually in his costume, but I found out that my machine actually loves embroidery thread and has no problem with it, even like the shiny metallic stuff. So all my costumes might be sparkly. I apologize now for the inaccuracy, but it's just a really exciting discovery for me. So yeah. Anyways, that's about it. Hopefully I managed to get that all out really quickly. Once again, I cannot express more how amazing and positive the experience was at Pop Expo, and especially with all the drama leading up to it, of me possibly not even getting the costume done, and like 4 a.m. I'm there realizing that the hooks that I had planned to close the garment internally just like pull it funny, and I'm like, oh, I can either use Velcro or a zipper. And a zipper is going to be really hard to put in, but it'll look so much nicer. So I'm there at 4 a.m. hand sewing couture style this zipper in so that it's completely invisible. And yeah, but then everything turned out the way it did. So I guess it's all meant to be. Yeah, thanks again for all the support. The contest is going strong. The hat is filled with many, many, many names. More names than I expected. And I don't know, thank you guys for sharing my stuff. It's really exciting for me, and I know it's a lot of like older photos that you've probably seen before, but there's stuff that I haven't actually gone to post to Facebook yet that's just on my DeviantArt. So I've been trying to like post the photos that haven't really made it to Facebook yet. And I know today or tonight I'm gonna post it in a bit is a new photo, my last shot of Balthier, which I'm like sad to almost let go of because I wanted that shoot to just remain forever and to post more photos every day, but it's my favorite, so I saved it for the end. And yeah, that's about it. There hopefully will be a Thranduil shoot coming soon, as well as maybe if I work a small miracle, there might be a free shoot coming too, just maybe. So until next week, guys, hope you're keeping cool, keeping warm. Actually, I don't know, if you live in Canada, you know how disgusting it is outside right now, and freezing and cold, and makes my soul cry and makes me want to move to California, where it is, I'm sure, a lovely, lovely, lovely temperature. But for those of you in Canada, stay warm, and I'll see you next week.